defender, Judge Karen, fought for her client's rights. She was elected to the bench because she believes in doing the right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period. Sometimes life pulls you from up here to down here to teach you a lesson. And you're in a valley right now. There are lessons in this valley. I hope you learn from them.
Objective, independent justice.
You can always turn your life around. If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Amber Chester is suing garage owner Ricardo Jacobs in the amount of $233.60 for damages to her car while parked in his complex.
Miss Chester, you are suing Mr. Jacobs for $233.60 for your car's broken mirror. Is that right? And your car's mirror was broken in a parking garage belonging to the defendant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so is this a parking lot or is it a parking structure?
It's a 3-story parking structure here.
Okay, and you own it?
I own it, yes.
Okay, and do you have any security there?
I have security cameras installed for my own security, and my insurance requires security cameras.
So your insurance requires that you have a camera on every floor?
There are 2 cameras per floor, Your Honor.
Okay.
Observing each deck.
Okay, all right. So how long have you been parking your car in this parking garage?
I've been parking pretty much daily for the past year and a half.
Okay. So what happened the day that your mirror was broken?
The day I returned to my vehicle, I saw that the mirror had been broken off, and I immediately went to talk to Tamika.
Who's Tamika?
She's the parking attendant.
Tamika Jenkins. She's here. Okay. Don't tell me what she said. Whatever she said, I'll hear it from her. But after speaking to her, what did you do as a result of speaking to her?
As a result of speaking to her, I contacted the owner of the parking structure.
The defendant?
Yes.
Okay.
She contacted me, all right.
Okay, and what did you tell her?
I told her that she asked if I would review the video.
Okay.
And I informed her that at my convenience, when I had an opportunity, I would review the video.
Okay. Did you call the police?
I did not call the police.
You did not report this incident to the police?
I did not.
Okay. So you told her at your convenience you were going to review the video and perhaps you'd see who broke the mirror.
Yes, that is what I said. However, I must admit, Your Honor, in the process, I do have a life here. I own more than just one structure.
Right. What else do you own?
I'm sorry?
What else do you own?
I own 3 parking structures.
Right. Well,
you're
not an attendant at any of them. Tamika was there at this one.
Yes.
Where were you, attending another one?
No, I was probably in my office here.
Well, you say, well, I have a life. Like, what are you doing?
Well, if it was a Saturday, I was golfing.
Okay, so but what's that to do with promising her that you would review the tape?
I did not promise the young lady I would review the tapes. She asked me by email if I would review the tapes, Your
Right,
Honor.
and you said I will do it at my convenience.
That is what I said.
Okay. Is your word your promise?
No, ma'am. I just...
so when is it that you make a promise? You have to say, I promise?
I forgot to review the tapes.
Excuse me?
It slipped my mind. I just... 2 hours after I got the email, I was off doing other things. I completely forgot to review the
video. Okay, so you didn't review the tape?
I did not.
Okay. Now, do you have one of these tapes that purges after so much time?
72 hours is an override.
Okay, so you let it override then?
I didn't let it override. It
well, did it override?
It overrode on its own. It's programmed to do that.
Okay. Let me hear from the witness. Court calls Tamika Jenkins.
And coming up,
you were reasonable or unreasonable in your duty.
I think it's unreasonable of her,
wait, take your hands off your hips and stop pointing at me.
Closed captioning provided by... You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. We're back with the case of Amber Chester, who is suing Ricardo Jacobs for property damage to her car.
So you were the parking lot attendant, Miss Jenkins?
Yes.
Okay, so what is it that you have to tell me?
Well, she came to me really...
The
plaintiff came to me really upset, and, her mirror is broken and she wants to know who did it.
Okay.
And I informed her that, I don't know who did it.
Right.
And we have signs that say that we're not responsible. You park at your own risk.
Right. Your signs say park at your own risk.
Well,
do you have pictures of your signs?
I do.
Let me see the signs. No skateboarding and no rollerblading. You think if somebody was skateboarding or rollerblading and got injured there, that you would be responsible at all?
No, ma'am.
Suppose there was a hole in the ground, and they went through that hole. Guess what? You probably would be responsible, even though you have that little sign
It clearly
there.
says no skateboarding.
I understand. I know what it clearly says, but if under those circumstances, you probably would be responsible. And we're not responsible for any damage caused to your vehicle. So is that your defense? Because you have these signs up there that I'm asking you, Mr. Owner. Is that why you don't believe you owe her for the mirror?
That is correct. I am also required by my insurance to have those signs in place. Also
Okay.
to cover my own.
Okay, so let me ask this question then. Why do you have insurance?
It covers damages to my parking garage and my
Like
property.
what kind of damage to the garage? Tell me that.
Vandalism. There are taggers that come in, they spray paint. People like to take
Vandalism.
chisels and knock holes into the concrete. They think
Right.
that's funny.
Right. Let me see your insurance coverage, the policy.
I don't have
You
it.
didn't bring it. Okay.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen.
You know, a lot of people think that just because they put these signs up, that somehow absolves you of any negligence. But you cannot just disclaim your own negligence or abrogate a duty. And you do have a duty of reasonable care. She would have to prove that you basically did not exercise at least reasonable care in protecting her car. Maybe she could have done that, or maybe she could not have done that if you had done what you said you would do, which is to look at the videotape. There's a reason why you have the videotape there. Because if she had the videotape evidence, that would help to determine whether or not you were reasonable or unreasonable in your duty.
I think it's
because
unreasonable of her,
wait,
Your Honor.
take your hands off your hips and stop pointing at me. Since the video was in your possession and you have a life to live, you were probably out playing golf and you let those 72 hours lapse, I'm going to hold that against you and find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $233.60. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $233.60. Good luck to you both.
All right.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $233.60.
The judge decided fairly, and I'll never park in the structure again.
Well, I'm glad. Good riddance. I don't ever want you to park in my structure again.